What if I told you that fear, that tight, overwhelming feeling you try to avoid, is actually a powerful gateway? A gateway to your soul's deepest expansion and the next level of your growth. Most of us think fear is something to escape from, but in reality is a signpost that says you're on the right path. In today's video, I'm going to show you why fear is the key to your soul's expansion and how to use it to transform your life and step into your true power. And this video will dive into why fear is not your enemy, but a guide to your soul's growth. How to identify the difference between the fear that is holding you back and the fear that is guiding you towards greater expansion. And the three powerful ways to move through fear and turn it into your greatest ally. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a new perspective on fear that will forever change how you show up in your life and business. Right now, you might be feeling stuck. Like no matter what you do, there's fear. It's a fear that's holding you back, maybe unconscious. Maybe it's a fear of failure, a fear of rejection, a fear of stepping into something bigger, having more responsibility than you've ever had before, even fear of success. And you might feel it in your body. In your mind, it's that constant doubt that stops you from taking action. And the result is that you stay in the same place, frustrated and disconnected from your true potential, feeling far from it. Imagine a world where visionary leaders and impact driven creators like you no longer shrink back when fear arises, but instead lean into it. What if instead of retreating, you could break free from the limits that have been holding you back for years and step into your truest potential, right? With no mask, no holding back. When you step up to meet your fear, it's not just your life that transforms. You become a catalyst for change. Think about the ripple effect that has, right? If you move through with your fear, it gives you permission to do it again. And then it gives other permission to do the same. And that's important because we need you to be a pillar, a model for those around you. It's not just about your growth. It's about raising a collective standard for what's possible when we choose courage over comfort, authenticity over safety, and power over self doubt. When you lead with fear as your ally, you become the kind of leader that the world desperately needs, one who essentially lights the way for others to rise into their fullest potential, right? It's like that idea that a candle never loses its flame by lighting others up. It's like you become that human that has the baton that's lighting the path for others to do the same. The solution is simple but powerful. Instead of avoiding fear, embrace it as a guide. Start to see it not as a wall, but instead as a doorway, as a signpost that you are on the edge of something new, some new transformation. When you learn to lean into your fear and move through it, that's when you access the deepest parts of your soul's potential. Because fear is a gateway to your soul's expansion. It is showing you where your growth lies. And I know this journey well. There was a time when fear, had a chokehold on me. I felt trapped. I was in a loop of overthinking, of indecision, of doing a whole lot of activity without challenging myself to move towards what was truly important, what I truly wanted to create. But then one day something clicked, right? I realized that every time I'd been on a brink of something new, of a new change, of a new transformation, fear was always there. It wasn't there to stop me. It was there to show me where I needed to go. And once I understood that, I started moving towards my fears rather than away from them. And everything changed, right? I literally launched my own coaching practice. I embraced my voice. I began living in alignment with my soul's purpose and and in that inviting others to do the same, right? I learned from the wise spiritual teacher Neil Donald Walsh that fear is not the opposite of love, but it is an expression of it, right? And I want you to think about that for a second. Fear is not the opposite of love, is an expression of it. It is pointing you towards what you love. You want to think about that. Let that sink in. Take Sarah, for example. Sarah came to me feeling stuck in her career. She was a successful entrepreneur, but every time she tried to expand her business, she hit that wall, like that paralyzing fear, fear of visibility, fear of rejection, fear of losing control. And it was as if her fear was this giant shadow that kept her small and disconnected from her purpose and from where she wanted to move in her business. What we discovered was that fear that wasn't her enemy. It was like untapped potential, like an untapped well of power. It's like when you hold tension in your body, all that tension is actually stored energy. And that's what was happening with her. She started to understand that all this fear was actually a place where she was holding a lot of energy. It was essentially spotlighting, illuminating where her soul wanted to expand next. Every time she felt the resistance, we then started to work on leaning in, right? We leaned in, we explored, and we found growth underneath it all. It was uncomfortable, it was messy, and yeah, it was raw at times, but she kept showing up. I'm so proud of her. And today, Sarah is leading transformational workshops. She's confidently sharing her message on stages. Most importantly, living in alignment. That's that fear that she once had became a really good ally for her life. Because when you embrace fear, you don't just shift your own life, you start to create ripples for your relationships and essentially everyone you serve in your family and beyond. So that's what true leadership is about, right? So how do we do this? The first step is to reframe your relationship with fear. Fear isn't a stop sign, right? You want to think about it as a compass. When fear shows up, ask yourself, what is this fear trying to reveal to me? Often it's showing you where you're about to experience the most growth. So the next time you feel fear, instead of pulling back, lean in. Ask, what's on the other side of this? Step two is to identify Step two is to identify expansion versus constriction. Not all fear is the same. There's a fear that's designed to keep you safe, like when you're walking on the edge of a cliff or playing with fire, right? That's that fear. It's like, and then there's the other fear that's expansive fear. It's the kind that almost excites you, that the one that comes up when you're about to step into something new. One exercise I give clients is to notice how fear feels in the body, right? Constrictive fear feels tight and heavy, like no. Expansive fear, on the other hand, feels like butterflies, like anticipation, like a nervous yes, because it is taking you closer to your heart's callings. So learn to distinguish between the two. Step three is to take aligned actions, even when you're afraid, right? The only way to move through fear is to take action. When you feel that expansive fear, take one small step. Maybe it's just having a conversation, or just having a difficult conversation, or launching a new project, or sharing about what you're doing, inviting other people to learn about your services, or simply saying yes to an opportunity that scares you. I had a client who was terrified about public speaking, because a lot of people are afraid of speaking in public. And we reframed her fear as a sign that she was ready to expand. And we realized that actually this was something she had admired for a really long time. She looked up to it. And we uncovered that secretly, even unconsciously, this is something that she deeply desired. And I saw her take the stage for the first time this past year. Actually, she spoke despite all the fear that she was feeling, and now it's becoming something that just fills her up with joy, and she's getting stronger and stronger into it. Step four is finally practice embracing the unknown. Fear is rooted in the unknown, and sometimes when we're in that place, we are, our mind is saying, what if I fail? What if I succeed? But the truth is that it is only in the unknown where all the magic happens. When you step into the unknown, you are giving your soul space to expand. In ancient traditions and in practices of mysticism, we often speak of God as a divine mystery. So allow yourself to be in it. One mantra I use is, I am willing to embrace what I cannot control and I trust my soul's path. So write it down, repeat it daily, and watch how your relationship with fear starts to shift. Now that you know why fear is the gateway to your soul's expansion, it's time to act. So, what's one fear that you've been avoiding? Drop a comment below and share it. Let's start a conversation around how fear can transform you. And if you're ready to dive deeper into a true transformation in your relationship with fear, head over to my website and book a free clarity call. Let's explore what's holding you back and create a plan to help you move through fear and step into your fullest potential. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video on conscious leadership, personal growth, and stepping into your true power. Your soul's expansion is waiting, and I am here to support something you love. Thank you.